Um, I want to ask you a little bit about the Okinawa Kenjinkai.
Mhm.
How involved was your mother with the Okinawa Kenjinkai?
My mother was very much involved, and she helped with the board, and she helped with the Fujinkai. Um, she there was a lady before her who was the Fujinkai president, but she took over and she was president for about 10 years, and she helped develop the Fujinkai a lot. And so, we, Kenjinkai too, in turn, helped us because if we needed a manpower, there's always volunteer and came help us. So, my sister and I, we practically grew up with Kenjinkai. So they were a big help to us. So, we tried to help as much as, of course, those people that used to come and help us, they're mostly gone. But yeah, that's the um, remembrance that we have as Kenjinkai.
So the Kenjinkai was a big part of your family life.
Yes.
And the Okinawa Kenjinkai is very unique because right after the war they had like the Zaibei Okinawa Fukko Renmei that sent care packages to Okinawa. Was your village recipient of that?
I don't know if from U.S. here, Kenjinkai, but I know we had from Hawaii. Hawaii also had those care packages. And that's because I don't know if there was anybody from our part of village here. So I think that, mostly people who from certain village, they might have, sent to their villages to help. And it would come not individual, but it would come to the like a village hall or something like that addressed to, and in our case, and then they would open up huge packages, and then they would distribute to the family members, and those packages included adults' clothes, men's clothes and those things. I think for us, probably Hawaii clothing was more compatible to Okinawan lifestyle because, more of a lighter summer clothes, those things, yeah. So, yeah, they really helped Okinawan people shortly after the war. So Okinawan government, to reciprocate that, they've helped, like when Hawaii built the community center, government helped in, to thank the people what they did during the war. So.
Now, what were the Okinawa Kenjinkai picnics like?
Oh, before, it was a huge family affair. We used to have it at the Elysian Park. I mean, this is after that. It was going on from before, but so like our part as a children or as was main help was at the picnic time, or washinenkai was as we got older. But because I was dancing, so as a part of entertainment, we always participated picnic and shinenkai. And picnic was, you would, the parents, mothers would be cooking from night before, bento, big bento, enough to feed the whole army, and they'll take it, and everybody has goza on next to each other. Everybody's sharing their food. I mean, it was a big deal. And the carpenters of the members who were carpenters, they would go from 5 o'clock in the morning and build stages, and the person who's in charge of the drinks get a big tarai, all that tarai lined up with ice and water, and so he has to make sure that each one, only one so that they don't come back. Everybody would have it. So it was, it's actual stage and dressing area in the back covered, and the musician area on the side. So they all built that on that morning and then take down in the afternoon. So, after those people that able to do that. The young people just couldn't keep it, doing that. But past 2 years, we've been having those mobile stages that we borrowed and do it at the Lake Video Narrows Park now. So yeah, and yeah, Elysian Park. From the parking, you have to park all on the street, and but all the children had a games in the back, and so it was the little kids that went there. They still remember that. As an adult, that's what they remember. So they would write to OAA, why can't we have those kind of picnic? And so we have to explain to them, there's nobody to build stage. There's nobody to, go and work from that time. If you want that, come and volunteer. So we've been pretty successful for past few years. So, yeah, those were the times that mainly that I would get involved in the OAA function.
Do you think the fact that Okinawa was so devastated during the war, do you think it tightened the community here also?
I think so. And also, they were so far away from main Japan, so that in itself, I think, if you look at the name, oh, you're from Okinawa. You're not from Okinawa. You're Okinawan. You recognize right away. So I think those two is main. And then Okinawan, music and dance in itself again is a little different from Japan. So I think that plays a part of cohesiveness of the community.
Now, is it because of your involvement with the Kenjinkai that you started to continue in your dancing?
No, not really with the community, but my interest became more deeper because, again, here they didn't have any formal teacher, so I thought, since I've started, why don't I continue? So I just took that opportunity to go to. But again, the community itself, music Sanshin group, they helped me. Like when I was in high school, they would all pitch in to send me to Hawaii, and so I can learn. And of course, I have to come back and show them what I've done and commit myself to perform and things like that. So yeah, they definitely was my big backup.
So it was a give and take.
Right.
They were able to fund your studies in Hawaii, and then in turn you would return and you would teach here.
Right. Yeah, and then after that I would do on my own to like go to Okinawa, and so that I can properly attain the teaching credential.
Let me go back a little bit. Now, you graduated high school 1961, and then right after high school, what did you do?
I started working because I started working to help the family, and went to night school.
And then, you quit after 1 year. You had this full-time job. You're probably making good money.
No.
Okay. But why did you quit?
Well, I quit because if maybe I wanted to get out of the thing. So anyway, I had enough that I've saved. Half I went to home, enough that I can support myself for 1 year. So I thought, if I'm gonna further my dance, I wanted to do it now. So I wanted to get away too, I think. So that's when I just took off 1 year and went to Okinawa and stayed there a whole year to dance, formally work with the headmaster, the teacher that I started in Hawaii. Her father was the headmaster, and she even encouraged me. She said, you know, you should go to Okinawa and study with my father. So there were two teachers, that another daughter who was teaching, and then the headmaster that I studied with. So it was, yeah, it was full-time learning dance every day.
So you actually really have a passion for dancing. You never gave it up since you left Okinawa.
No, I haven't.
And you came here, and then the summertime you were learning in Hawaii. And then you graduated, and then
as soon as I got freedom, I took off for
Okinawa.
Yeah.
What year did you go to Okinawa to learn dancing?
63. 63, yeah. Because, yeah, the year Kennedy was assassinated.
Was it very difficult for you to adjust back to Okinawan life?
I stayed with my mother's friend who was married to retired military person. So the house was just like American home. So as part of that, as far as daily life, I didn't have any difficulty. But yeah, you know, I had to commute by bus to Naha studio, and yeah, Okinawa at that time still, you know, developing time in '60s, but it was in U.S. dollar. That's why I took that opportunity, because it was dollar. People were getting paid. If you had about $35 a month or $40 a month pay, you were had a good pay. So if I didn't take that opportunity, I would have never been able to go.
I know in the 60s, I think $1 was like 365 yen.
Yes.
Is that the same conversion in Okinawa?
Yeah. Yes, but we didn't have a yen. We had a U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar. So people were, if you were making $30, $40 a month salary, you were pretty good. So that's why what I had, maybe about a year, I saved less than 2,000 and paid my airfare, and I was able to stay there for a month. And of course, not month, a year. So of course, at the end, I was running out, so I had to go to my father's side grandmother, and fortunate that they had saved up some of my father's like pension money from military pension, so that was able to help me. So yeah, otherwise I would have never been able to do that. So it was just the opportunity that I had to get myself out to be free.
Now, were you learning odori full-time, or were you learning other art forms?
Odori was full-time, but then there was some time that available, so I learned sanshin, which I'm not very good and forgot most of them. And then ocha, tea ceremony, because my sensei's neighbor was doctor's clinic, and doctor's wife had the tea ceremony class. So, and my sensei's was also taken, so I went with her and took the tea ceremony.
And then the tea ceremony was this omote senke or ura senke? Ura senke.
Because I was doing ura senke when I left here, so I just continued on. But that was as far as I got. So I just went to shomenkyo and never passed that. But I like tea ceremony. It's a sense of relaxation.
Now, after you returned to the U.S. in 1964,
Yes.
what did you do?
Um, I went back to school, but again, this time I went full time. I mean daytime, full time, and then I worked part time. And I went back to the old company to work because I saw one of the boss there, and he told me, "Okay, come back from tomorrow." But I said, "No, no, I'm going back to school." But I was fortunate that I was able to work there, so I went back to school, and yeah. But and then at certain period I had to work full time too, so my education really took a long time to finish.
And then in between, you also got married.
Yes.
How did you meet your husband?
One of those high school that Japanese student gathering or something. So I knew, yeah, one of my friend had introduced. So.
Now, what prefecture is your husband?
He's from Kagoshima. He's from Kagoshima, but again, he's in same situation as me. His mother was born in Imperial Valley, and they're one of the rare family that actually made it here and moved back to Japan. So apparently they had a big farm in Imperial Valley, and all the children, they had four children. I think three were born, two or three were born there, and so they moved back to Kagoshima, and his mother was the oldest daughter, and he married my father-in-law, and then shortly after they married, they went to Manchuria, so that's where he was born. And then after the war, from Manchuria they came, and then parents divorced, and mother came here. Mother came here, and at that time I think he called my husband, and he came here. In fact, he came here in high school, so he had finished his high school in Japan.
So his family didn't have any problem of him marrying an Okinawa person?
No, I don't think so. I never had any, anything, coolness from them.
Now, I know you, did you start teaching from 1966, dancing?
Yes. Well, actually, right after I came back, 64, 65, when I was living with my mother, we used to move all the living room furniture and was teaching at that.
Now, how did you get students? Did you advertise?
No, not really, from word of mouth, and there are a lot of, Okinawa. Most of the students were from Hawaii, so they had exposure, how Hawaii was more into Okinawan culture, so that's how it was. Yeah.
So you were working full-time and then teaching dancing at night?
Night, yeah. Or sometimes, some weekend morning, Sunday morning. Yeah.
Now, in Southern California, how many Okinawa dance teachers are there?
There's 4 schools here, and they have their kyoshi as teachers there. So actually, the 4 different schools, Okinawan schools of dance schools, are here in Southern California. And that's including, from here to San Diego area.
And so you are with the Majikina school?
Majikina Hondyu, yes.
So your dance name is?
Majikina Aiko.
I wanted to ask a little broader question about how did you and your family feel about the treatment of the Okinawa people by the Japanese during the war?
Actually, we didn't have too much negative during the war, but because Japanese were fortunate, they were more kind to us, or my grandparents, as remember, they they even gave us some fabrics. And I don't know, come to think of it, I don't know why they had those fabrics. It was a bright silk rose. And in fact, it was enough to make kimono for my sister and I. So it was a yellow kimono with a big red, maybe it was like a hinomaru, but it was a, yeah, they must have, I don't know why they brought it. They had with them. Because I remember my mother, bringing it home. This was from the Japanese soldiers. So because we didn't really see them being any harsh to Okinawan, so I don't think, I don't remember having. I remember my grandparents talking about, talking to these Japanese military people, that they had talked about their families, that they have children like this at home or something like that. So directly, we didn't have any bad feelings.
But the Showa Tenno could not.
Oh, no. And my sister was so upset about the Tojo. So she was always, why does he have to live? Why he should be? So, and Showa Tenno couldn't come to Okinawa because whole Okinawa was just totally, they know they were being used as to divert the whole war to Okinawa. So it was sacrificial.
Did he ever visit Okinawa before he died? Showa Tenno? Did he ever come to Okinawa? Was he able to come to Okinawa?
No, he never did. He was never Okinawa wouldn't allow. In fact, I think current Tenno came when he was Kotaishi, and I know they had a big protest, and I believe he came when Kotaishi. That I cannot be sure, but I know they only made one visit there. Yeah, Tenno definitely was not.
Now, recently, Prime Minister of Japan, Hatoyama, he had to resign because he broke the promise to the Okinawa people regarding the U.S. military bases. What are your thoughts about the U.S. military bases, their expansion? Do you think Honshu should carry more of the burden, or what are your thoughts?
I definitely feel that Honshu should take, because, and they've been there too long. It's after the war this long, and why such a, big presence of U.S. military in Okinawa? Well, I know U.S. don't want to, especially with Korean conflict over there, they don't want to let it go. But I really think that they have the best part of Okinawa as their base, and it's time to leave or minimize it or use more of Honshu area. That's my strong feeling, though, because they do have jobs, but my understanding is not that significantly huge amount that Okinawa job will lose. But I know there is a lot of opposition in Okinawa also because their income of the property rental are coming. But again, that comes from, Japanese government. So it's not the military, U.S. government, Japanese government are the ones that paying that. And that's a big chunk of income that those land owners. So that's another opposition in itself, conflict develops in Okinawa.
Now, last year the Okinawa Kenjinkai, the OAA, had their 100th anniversary. What do you think is the future of the Okinawa Association of America for the next 100 years here?
Next, yeah, we need to, well, we do have younger generation, and that's because I think we've, like all the Kenjinkai does have that problem of having the younger people. But what we did was we switched mostly to English, rather than staying with all the Japanese, because that's where harder for the, so our meetings are mostly conducted in English, and we do have, English, and we have, we're fortunate that we have our own building and we have our own office there, and the full-time worker, full or semi-full-time worker there, who is totally, bilingual and communication. Our minutes, everything is all in English. So that helps. But yet, because, everybody's scattered all over the place, and hard to bring in the younger generation. So hopefully it will carry on in some way. But again, I mean, I'm not young, but I'm part of younger generation that, ourselves, we have to let our kids learn more, and then grandchildren and all that. So, yeah, well, my daughter is involved in the scholarship committee, but that's about the extent she'll go. But, when they need help, they'll try to go and help. But if you have, younger children, it's hard to give full time to help. So that trying to sustain until they're free to help is the key point I think we need to work on. So I hope you'll carry on.
Well, what about your dance, groups? Is there interest as there was before?
Yeah, but that too is getting harder to get younger kids, because younger children themselves are quite busy now. There's so many activities going, and once they start going to college, then they get involved. But I do have kids that come back, or if they want to perform for their grandparents, or if they want to perform for their wedding or something, they do come back. But continual learning is getting hard after high school. So, have to get younger kids. But their parents themselves are so busy, and the kids are involved with sports and other activities. So once a year, Shinenkai or picnic are the only time that we really get everybody together. But, Taiko group is going pretty well. But there are lots of younger South American family are the ones that's really into it now. So we do have big Peruvian, Bolivian, Argentinian families, that younger group are here. So they bring their children. So hopefully, that's why we have to have a trilingual at our functions. Adding salsa in there with Eisa and Taiko, everything there. But, in some way, if it continues, South America is pretty good. They have a, big, even this Taiko, Matsuri Taiko groups members are in 100. So, and that's so hard to do for here. But hopefully it'll continue.
You had a lot of representation from South America at your 100th anniversary.
Yes,
I was really surprised.
Yes. Yeah. So they're,
very strong.
Yeah.
It seems the Okinawa community globally is very strong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, a lot of the music, dance, and food, just to have andagi and those Okinawan food, that really, I used to know, I know this professor, he was at uh, Washington, D.C. Dr. Goff, yes, he's at Irvine now, but he said, oh yeah, Okinawan people, if there's 10 people that you have friends in anywhere in the world, they'll form a Kenjin-kai. So, you know, they find some common sharing that they can do. So hopefully they, and yeah, South America just keeps on going. And yeah, I think they're Yonsei, I don't know if they got into Gosei, but yeah, Sansei, Yonsei, yeah. Because Nisei are still young, South American Niseis. So, yeah.
Well, I've asked all my questions, and thank you. Is there anything you want to add that I didn't ask you?
No, I think pretty much covered. Yeah. Thank you for, this privilege.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it.